Hey, everybody, welcome to Off the Vine podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin Bristow. Today we have Monica from Love is Blind, a true queen who didn't give us a lot at the reunion. So I asked questions about everything. What is Steven's kinks? What were the fetishes that everybody was talking about? How much was the Venmo? What is she actually thinking during the reunion? And what did she say that was cut out? We get all of the answers that you could possibly need from Monica, Love is Blind.
I love Nashville. I was just there for what Memorial? No, not Memorial. Labor Day.
Labor Day,
Yeah.
what'd you do?
We went to, what's the name of the hotel? My boyfriend, people just found out I have a boyfriend, but I've been dating someone all year and he has a
cute.
son. And so it was our first time, all of us going on vacation together.
Fun.
And we went because he's 9 and they have an amazing water park hotel. What's it called?
Oh, the Opry.
Yes.
Yes.
So we stayed there. We had so much fun at the water park.
It's a great,
We took him to the Grand Ole Opry. We went to a lot of cheesy.
Wait, so people just found out you have a boyfriend?
No one knows what his face looks like or anything, but yeah, I posted a picture yesterday on my Instagram of behind him, and I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah.
And you've been dating for a year.
Yeah, we started dating in January.
And when did filming end?
Filming ended for me, the Halloween party that y'all saw, the Great Gatsby party was Halloween, so November, early November.
So then you started dating this person in January, and are you going to keep it private for now, or are you going to share it at some point?
So I'm going to share it at some point.
Yeah.
The internet's just been so difficult and hard, and because of his son, and I have a really great relationship with his ex-wife, and
that's nice.
So I'm just trying to be
ooh, sounds healthy.
Yeah, right? What is life? Yeah.
Do you think, I always think about stuff like this where you go through the most unnatural out-of-body experience where it just puts you through the ringer that actually sets you up for so much success because of how far you've been beaten down and your soul is so exposed, and then you
100%.
Yeah.
I started dating him when I was 36. I'm 37 now.
Yeah.
And I'd been through the ringer like most, I think women today who are dating and single. And coming off of the show, everything that happened with Steven, I was like, another cheater like this.
Right.
And then so quickly and easily falling into that relationship, I'm like, this was all meant to be.
Yeah.
It had to happen because this is the best thing that's happened to me romantically.
Sometimes that happens for people right away. And then sometimes, you got to be patient with the world and your timing. But sometimes it's just oh. And then other times it takes a few years and you're like, oh.
Uh-huh. Totally. It's usually been the opposite for me.
Yeah.
It's been, touch and go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
I am so embarrassed that I just poured this in plastic cups, but with Spade and Sparrows, there's no rules.
I love it.
We just drink wine and
that.
we enjoy it. How nice does it feel though to have some privacy with a relationship?
It feels really good,
Mm-hmm.
especially because for the first time ever in my life, nothing feels private. And
Right.
even coming here and flying here, at the airport, I was, I'm so grateful for everyone who comes up to me and says something nice. But it's just
overwhelming.
So overwhelming.
Yeah. I like to put words in people's mouths.
You did a great job taking that one right now.
A girl not text me, she DM'd me and she goes, just ask questions and let her talk. I was like, you got it.
Please don't do that. Please.
Well, I have a lot of questions, so
Okay,
we will get through a lot of that. But I like that for you. It's for everybody at home with the timeline, it's so different. And for you, you're like, I had to relive it so many times.
Yep.
And then again for the reunion.
Yeah.
What was the man that you were seeing? What was his thoughts of all of this, of you going on the show and what you had to go through?
He's been incredibly supportive.
Yeah.
He was actually in the audience at the reunion.
He was?
Yeah.
Did they show his face?
They show his face, but they don't say Monica's
Yeah,
boyfriend
yeah,
or anything.
yeah.
But he's in there.
That's awesome.
He's smoking hot.
That's
And he's the sweetest ever, but he's such a babe. And yeah, but someone wrote yesterday I heard her boyfriend was in the audience. Maybe that's why she didn't come as hard at Steven. And then other people are like, you were too hard on Steven. But anyways, he was in the audience. Right?
Who the said you were too hard on Steven?
Win is what I'm realizing.
No, you can't. You really can't. And the internet will prove that to you every single day that you try. And that's why you can't try to win.
Yep.
But it's so frustrating because the noise is probably so loud for you right now. Because again, everyone just saw the reunion the other day. But I thought you were too quiet, from my opinion. But also, I know it's an edited show. Did you say more and did they edit it out?
Yeah. There was a lot more said. I think.
Tell us.
I'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
Girl, everything.
What the heck?
But altogether, that's what's been very frustrating about many of the comments since the reunion came out.
Yeah.
it was filmed for 5 hours,
Yeah.
and you saw 90 minutes of it.
Right.
So, I said a lot more. Came at him for things, but also it ended with me saying, like, "Just as a reminder, I do forgive you. I
Right.
forgive you,
Yeah.
Steven, for what you did. And I forgave you a while ago, but it doesn't mean you didn't hurt me, and we're not like, we're gonna talk about that."
Yeah.
Even, like, the whole Nick D
Yeah.
conversation, which we
Right.
can talk about, but, like, it took us girls a very long time to say
To
what
get
we ended
there.
up saying about Nick. We just wanted to sit there and not get in anyone's business, and for
Right.
2 hours, we were just quiet. And
Ugh.
there was a moment where it was like, "All right, guys," like, we took a break and producer was like, "What are happening?" And we're
Yeah.
like, "We all have to just the things we've been saying behind the scenes, and, we have to say it. We have to put it out there."
So Nick D,
Yeah.
I feel like the whole time people just felt like he was a golden retriever, like he was so lovable and like so sweet and loved his family, and everybody was really hard on Hannah.
Yeah.
And then at the reunion, it kind of felt like everyone was like, F you, Nick, and
Mhm.
nobody said anything about the Hannah stuff.
Yeah.
What was that in real life? How was that? How did that situation go down?
So, I love Nick. Like, he's great.
Yeah.
He's got incredible confidence. He's 10 years younger than me. Like, he was one of the youngest guys
Yeah.
on the show. I was the oldest woman, and I, like, dated him more than one day. Like, we
Yeah.
talked about age, and he was like, I'm not scared. Like, let's, we didn't date for super long, but I was
Right.
like, yeah, he's just very lovable and likable and sweet and great. All that being said, I think if we're being really honest, and I still love Nick.
Yeah.
I love Nick and I love Hannah.
Hmm.
The reality of that situation is everyone who the audience got to know, most people, I shouldn't speak for everyone, most people who the audience got to know this season, after filming was done, the years gone on, if we were to have conversations around, people who knew we did the show would say, "What was your season like?" And we wouldn't say it to people we weren't supposed to, but like, who was the villain? We'd all kind of look at each other and be like, the only person who might have a hard time when the show comes out is Nick D.
Really?
That was like our real life experience from the guy's side, the girl side. It was just like, if anyone might have a
Because he
hard
came
time, it
up
was Nick.
across a little cocky at first.
Well, and we knew about things like the note that Hannah found, and we knew about things
Right.
like him talking about her looks the whole time.
Right.
What none of us really knew was watching it back, like, I had no idea Hannah was that hard on Nick.
Yeah.
I think I watched it a lot differently than many of the viewers because I was kind of like, well, some of this makes sense. Like, he was, not being the kindest to her, and it didn't
Right.
feel like he was super into it. And so some of those insecurities are, yes, likely her own, but also if your person's not making you feel attractive
Yeah.
or cared about, then those insecurities come out too. So,
I agree.
yeah.
Sometimes I do get scared for having my opinion because a lot of people will disagree.
Yeah.
But I actually saw certain things of where Hannah was coming from. If you're going to get married to someone, first of all, you want to feel like they're attracted to you.
Yep.
You do want to know if they have like a plan of moving out of their parents' place.
Yeah.
You do want to know about their 401k.
100%.
You do want to know about finances, how you're going to work together through them. Like yes, and she admits this. The delivery scene,
Yes.
it comes across very harsh
100%.
and a little passive.
Yeah.
But the conversations were the right conversations to be had.
100%. I think that as someone who watched all the seasons of Love is Blind as a fan and a viewer, and then did it, when I think about like, what's the one thing I didn't understand? It's you're actually in real life walking to an altar in like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And so once you get back to DC and you get your phones back, you get texts from your sister and your mom, and you have, you're like, hey, the wedding's gonna be on this date.
Right.
What bridesmaids dress color do you like? You're like, my sisters who live in LA are like, we're gonna book flights, we're coming. So that's happening. And if you're having any doubts, there's no room to not
Right.
bring them up. It's like whether someone's talking too much like Steven, or like finances, who's gonna pay the bills, it's like we are actually going to the altar, and
Yeah.
like in a
This
real
isn't a
relationship,
joke.
maybe I don't have to, kind of like,
No, because you actually get married.
you actually get
And you
married.
will actually have to sign divorce papers and go through all that
Can you
if it doesn't
imagine?
work.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people think that's fake.
Yeah. No, it's real. A real marriage, truly.
Isn't it interesting how people sit at home and they would do the exact same things, maybe worse?
Yeah.
But it's so
Totally.
easy to judge
It's so easy to
because,
judge.
again, it is an edited show. So So we saw a lot of Hannah being hard on Nick. We didn't see him talking poorly about her looks, him not being super attracted to her. All they kind of made him out to be this sweet little innocent one, and her
Mm.
because they cast for these purposes.
Mhm.
So how's Hannah feeling?
The internet has been very hard on
Yeah.
Hannah, very hard. I mean, she's in a good space, as good as one could be. I saw
Right.
her last weekend. She, just like me, and, other women and men from the cast can watch it back and be like, "I should have said that more, nicer, or I could have been more pleasant there." And so she recognizes all of those things, but also at the same time, I think that I can't imagine being in her shoes where so much of the other side of what people got to see was so perfect. And Nick is amazing and he's lovable, but
Sure.
there's a lot more to the story.
So how did that come out at the reunion where it got to a place that you guys were like, no, we got to call him out because he's not perfect either? How did it get there?
This was something in terms of like knowing the actual truths of the relationship as it was unfolding between Hannah and Nick.
Yeah.
I would have a conversation with my producers, like, knew that
Yeah.
this was something that many of us thought, just like, gosh, is he really here for the right reason?
Right.
Leading up to the reunion, you have conversations to just prepare for logistically the reunion, all those things. And so you might mention it of like, oh, or they might mention it, things from
Right.
the past. So when we got there, we filmed for a couple hours, you take a break, and then you film for a few more hours. And I think I will say the first half, I was like, besides getting to hear about the married couples and how happy are, like love them and so
Yeah.
happy for them. It's kind of like one of the producers said to me during the break, like, you guys are being really polite, very pageanty. I mean, it was
Yeah.
boring. I was like,
Yeah.
this is boring.
Yeah.
Truly, this is boring. And it just didn't feel right. For me, it wasn't like this feels wrong that I'm not saying what I think because, oh gosh, I need to stand up for Hannah. She's getting it so bad. It was more like, this is actually what I feel. And I've said it all year.
Yeah.
And like, I just have to say it. I have to be honest. Like, this is not who I actually am in real life.
Right.
So I can't be scared of what the world's going to think or what Nick's going to think. I was
Well,
like,
because
Nick,
everyone's going to get over it so fast too that you might as well say
might as
what
well
you
say
think.
it.
Yeah.
Might as well say it. And what's been fascinating since the reunion came out is I can't believe it. For all of us women, I think it was who said something? Me, Alex, Marissa, and Hannah. We didn't plan this
Yeah.
at all. We didn't.
Yeah.
They keep us separate. We don't have a chance to
Plan
talk-
out what you're
nothing.
saying. Yeah.
And it comes time, and I think Marissa's saying something. I'm like, I gotta be strong. I'm like, Nick, come on,
Yeah.
be honest. And so for us, it was a very hard moment. Like, God, we did it. The world's gonna get to just hear the other side of it. Coming back home online, the fans are like, you women are bullies. I can't believe, why would you guys believe Steven and Ramses, who said that Nick said these things? Of course, they're lying. I actually cannot believe that people think like, oh, you guys just don't have the right story. I'm like, no, what we said was
You're like,
the truth.
oh, I was there. You
yeah,
weren't.
these are facts.
Yeah.
So it's so mind-blowing that people are like still not understanding of you guys
Well,
were
it's
fooled.
perpetuated misogyny at its finest.
Yes.
I mean, you'll never convince those people otherwise.
Yeah.
But a lot of, the smart people and the people who have an open mind can see like, hey, that's not cool either. We didn't get to see that. Like by
Right.
this time, we all know how reality TV
Right.
works. We all know that things are edited out.
Totally. Yeah.
So
And can I say one more thing on that
Please.
too? It's like by saying that, it was so hard to say. And so the intent was not like, we're going to say this and all of a sudden Nick's going to get so much hate and be villainized. We would never want
Right.
that. Like neither one of them deserves it. It was
Right.
50-50. Both have made mistakes, just
Right.
like me and Steven. Although I would say Steven and I are more like 70-30.
yeah. 80-20 maybe.
But that wasn't the point. But it was just more like, there's more to the story.
And do you feel like you guys got that across that there was more to the story? Like, or was there more that we don't know?
I think you guys heard most of what I know.
So Steven was the one that told you.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like in real life, we're all dating. We're in
Yeah.
Mexico. So we go hang out. We're at a party. We go up to the room. Once the cameras leave, Steven's like, oh my God,
Right.
Nick said this. And
Yeah.
other women were saying, oh, my partner told me this as well. And
That is so not okay.
yeah.
And like, how does he not? First of all, that's just so cruel and not nice. But how does he think that that's not going to get back around? And also, this is if you weren't feeling it, how come he didn't just stop it
Yeah.
there?
Or at least like even if he was afraid to say it on camera, like, oh, I don't want to get whatever his reasons might have been. Now you have to be honest.
Yeah.
That's what was the most disappointing about Nick at the reunion. I mean, the reason why fans are still like, oh, everyone's lying about Nick is because Nick never said, even, you guys are right. I said it.
Right.
So, like, you lied. And for me, that just go to show, because I know it's true, it's like, you are a great liar. Like,
Yeah,
would
I
not
don't
let
like
go.
that because I mean, again, people do forget and people will move on, but to have integrity in that moment and just say, I really fucked up.
Yeah,
Like,
I fucked up.
Hindsight is always 2020. I should have, like, I wonder if, because he's coming on the podcast after, so I'm gonna ask.
Yeah, ask him. Ask him.
I'm gonna have to ask him a lot.
I think he won't. I don't think he will ever admit it. Being on that stage with him and how,
Yeah. Like
that
he's convinced himself it didn't happen.
took so, like, what you all saw of just the Nick and Hannah part was a very large part of filming. Like,
Yeah.
it took so long. And, from when I finally was like, well, Steven said it. Steven very quickly was like, I did. But then when Marissa was like, Ramses, are you going to say something?
Yeah.
It took a lot. It was like pebble by pebble. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but like little by
Yeah.
breadcrumb,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And finally it was like, okay, everyone's saying it. And Nick
Right.
was still like, I have no clue I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I see through people like that, and I can admit that people can still be lovely people and then sit up there and lie about something because it is embarrassing. It's
embarrassing.
humiliating that he would say something so awful about another human being that he was supposed to be in love with.
Right.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
He was probably in panic mode, and he probably will stick to that story just because people are believing him.
Mhm.
People who are not believing in someone, I don't believe shit that comes out of Steven's mouth. The letter was for sure calculated.
100%.
I know people like that. The calculated moves to seem like like you said, he couldn't wait to say that on the reunion that he wrote a letter.
Mhm.
It just, how were you containing yourself? And also, what did we not see that you said? I have millions of questions. We'll start with that.
Yeah. Okay. So first, it's crazy because Steven and our relationship ended in maybe like October 30th or early November
Right.
of last year. Christmas comes around Christmas time, and I get this letter. He'd asked me for my address, I think, and I get a letter. I read it, and I think it was a letter to my parents. Excuse me. Yeah, it was a letter to my parents.
Okay.
Apologies, but I opened it before
Yeah.
they did, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I would
And
too.
I showed it to my mom. My dad didn't even want to read it. My mom's like, "This is so sweet. This is so sweet." And it took me a second. I'm like, "This doesn't add up
Yeah.
to what, like, my breakup with him and how." If you remember, when I caught him cheating, it was like he looks at the cameras and he's like, "I will pay for this forever." Steven
Yeah.
never fought for me.
Yeah.
He never. If he really loved me, it's like, and it's for the best. It was a blessing
Of
because
course.
I really loved him, but he never was like, "Hey, can we try it?" Like,
Yeah.
I was like, did you ever really care? Most guys, if something blown up like that, they would have tried to fight for me. And I would have hoped I would have said no. I think I would have. I should have said no.
Right.
But yeah, so he sends the letter, and I'm like, I read it to Ashley, and I are like, from the show, our best friends. So I shared it with her. And pretty immediately, we were both just like, he is sending this to be able to bring it up at the reunion.
Mhm.
Immediately, like the
Mhm.
day. I was like, my mom was like, it's so sweet. I'm like, it doesn't add up to the behavior.
Right.
So then I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Within the first 5 minutes of Steven talking on the reunion stage, when that comes out of his mouth, I'm like, knew
Yeah.
it. Knew it.
What can you share what the
Crazy.
letter said, or would you rather not?
I wish I had it with me. I'd read the whole thing. I don't really remember. It was just like, I'm really sorry for letting you all down, and you guys seem like wonderful people, and Monica talks so highly of you, and my parents are looking forward to meeting you guys, and I, screwed up royally, and I'm really sorry. There was one part of it that was, I do remember one part because it was like, this doesn't really make sense. But he was like, Mrs. Davis, you seem like such a wonderful and amazing person because your home decor looks like my mom's home decor.
No.
And like that part, when I read it to Ashley, she was like, that doesn't, like, this is why we know he's just like, what? That doesn't make sense. So
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because I'm just like picturing him writing this. And when you were sitting there and he was realizing that you were having this conversation with him, like, I saw these messages, like,
Yeah.
he was so defeated and didn't even,
Yeah.
like, he knew, he was like, I'm embarrassed. I'm going to look stupid. I'm out of here. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
Did he say anything else? Like,
So, okay. So what's crazy about that night is people really don't understand this part of filming the show, and they're really confused by moments this season that were not caught on camera, right? Like me and
Yes.
Steven, the Alex and Tim thing, like there's been a lot of feedback
There
about
needs to be Big
gaps.
Brother cameras everywhere.
Like those types of shows when there's a camera 24/7,
Yes.
I don't think I'd be bold enough to do that because like they can catch you having sex and being
That's true.
physical, and
But they're not gonna or do they show that?
they show not like, under the covers, like,
Oh, yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
stuff. So once you get back to DC, the schedule kind of changes and every single couple has their own team. You get 2 days off of filming a week.
And
You
you're
can-
together.
And you're together, yeah.
That's
You're living together,
crazy.
but they have to give the crew 2 days off.
Sure.
So
I'm surprised they don't separate you guys in those 2 days. I mean,
No.
I guess you need all the time you can together, but
yeah.
so much can happen in 2 days that doesn't make
Exactly.
sense with the storyline.
Yeah, it's true. It's now that I've done it,
Yeah.
like I watch reality TV. I'm a housewives girl, but it's so interesting that they do. I'm glad that they let us, but yeah, you miss things. So that day happened to be the first time ever Steven and I weren't filming back in DC because we had the day off and I had just gotten back from Mexico. I used that day to like get my hair done again.
Yeah.
I was all over the place getting myself together after being gone for a few weeks. So I get back home. It's nighttime. We're having so much fun in our apartment. Everything's great. The whole thing happens where I find the text, and I'm happy to elaborate on that if you want me to.
That.
But I'll fast forward to the juicy part that no one really knows yet, because some people I feel like I've shared a little bit of that, and I will share it again. But I found the text.
Yeah.
And then when I find them, I am so caught off guard,
Right.
shocked. Like he's in the bathroom, and I'm like scrolling. I step into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Because I was out and I'm like,
Ew, I hate that feeling too.
shocked. Oh my, I'm so shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Then he comes out and we have a conversation. And I remember thinking, it's not like when I did the show, producers would say, on those 2 days off, if something happens, make sure you call me. It wasn't like that. It was like,
Right.
just live your life, prepare for the wedding. It was like a
Wow.
real, but I ended up immediately calling. I was like, Steven, you have 3 things. 1, pack your shit, get the hell out.
Yeah.
2, you can call our producer. I will. Like I gave him, I forgot what the third one was. And he was just roaming around the apartment, like slamming on the walls, just like he got caught. And he
Yeah.
was like, stop,
Yeah.
And so I was like, TikTok,
Yeah.
call Liz or I will.
Yeah.
And so when I called Liz, what's interesting to me about that, thinking back on it, is I never in a million years thought I was calling Liz and they were going to send camera crews, which they
And
did.
Liz is your producer.
Liz is my
Okay,
producer.
okay,
Thank you. Yeah. I never thought that would happen. I was calling Liz to be like, when you decide to break up with someone and you have like to tell your mom or your dad because then you'll never go back.
Yeah.
Or I was like, I don't know if in a second from now he could convince me to be like, here's what happened.
Right.
It wasn't a big deal. And I would just show up the next day at filming tomorrow and never say anything.
Right.
I don't know. So I called her to just be like, hey, I caught him doing this and I need you to know because we're breaking up. I am not letting him. He betrayed me so deeply. And then, of course, the whole production thing happens and camera crews come. And so there's like some gaps in that. The reason why I was so shocked and taken aback, and I think a very big part of the reason why Steven was so quick to be like, people were like, he looks so defeated. And some people, a very small portion of the population, it feels, most people are like, that was heartbreaking for you, Monica, and we felt for you. But some people were like, well, you were so hard on him and he was so defeated in that moment because you were so hard on him and he was looking for an out. And I'm like, no, he was so defeated in that moment because he knew.
Yeah,
I'd been cheated on so many of Steven and I's conversations in the pods in Mexico was about cheating. Like that was what I was worried my story might be. Like, I talked a lot about how much I'd been through it and Steven really promised to protect me. And it was, so I was like, you did, are you kidding me? I really couldn't believe it.
Yeah, because so many people were like, did you not see signs? Were there no red flags? And you're like,
Polar opposite. I would have never, I thought that Steven has his quirks. I have my flaw, but he's like a quirky, goofy, nerdy guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I loved so many things about him. And I was like, this is what I've been looking for, for 36 years. It's like, he was the good guy. Like other girls who would come back from dating him in the pods, later on when we started towards the end talking about who we were with, other girls would be like, yeah, he's just like kind of nerdy. But he's Monica, like no one here deserves love more than you. You've been through so much with the others. He's perfect for you. He's like the dad nerd, sweetheart, teddy bear angel.
Oh, no.
So yeah. So, and then
with
like
some freaky fetishes.
Who's, talks about, he have a weird sense of humor, like the comments around sticking his in mac and cheese and pineapple. now that things played out the way it did, a lot of people think like he was being serious. I always thought he was joking.
Well, because you could, I mean, I say the most inappropriate humor ever, especially off the record. I say the weirdest shit. But him saying that leading into these fetishes was
Mhm.
great editing and
Mhm.
great production.
Mhm.
Okay, I always feel like fall has that fresh new energy. Every season, I'm like, yes, new energy. The summer craziness winds down. Suddenly, there's this chance to kind of reset, whether it's with a new show to binge or trying to get my life back in order, a new workout routine. And for me, that does include getting back to fitness or honestly just trying to stay on track because even though summer's over, my schedule is just as packed and I don't always have time to make it to the gym. And that is where Alo Moves has been a total game changer. I'm so into it. Alo Moves is this awesome health and wellness app that lets me keep up with my wellness routine no matter where I am. So they have classes for literally every moment, whether I've got a full hour or just 5 or 10 minutes, I can pop into a yoga session, hit some Pilates, or squeeze in a quick strength workout all from my phone. And I just love that there are options from beginner to advanced, so I can keep things, interesting. I like to keep it interesting. And here's the cool part, it is not just fitness. There's meditation, sound baths. I love a sound bath, nutrition tips, which I always need, and all sorts of self-care tutorials. It's like having a wellness coach in my little pocket. Alo Moves has really helped me stay on track even when life gets super busy. And now I have no excuses, okay? Unless I'm feeling lazy, because I feel like Alo would respect a lazy Sunday. And I can sneak in a workout or a little Zen moment just wherever I am. So if you're ready to jump into your own fall reset, head to alomoves.com and use code VINE for an exclusive 30-day free trial. Plus enjoy 20% off an annual membership. That's alomoves.com, code VINE for a 30-day free trial and 20% off an annual membership. alomoves.com, code VINE. I know you've heard me raving about Dime Beauty's clean, affordable skincare. I do it on every podcast, and their products are truly amazing. And I'm especially hooked on the Works system. It's a complete skincare package that just covers all. My other must-haves, I'll tell you, is the Tinted Glow Wonder Screen and the Serum Duo. Such a boost for my skin. And with the holidays right around the corner, Dime is not making us wait. They're offering 25% off site-wide with code HOLIDAY25 right now. Dime Beauty is all about high-end skincare that actually delivers without the high-end prices. Plus it's clean, non-toxic, which is huge. I've been loving Dime products as the weather cools down, especially. I love the TBT cream. It's a gentle retinol alternative, so it doesn't have those harsh side effects that other retinol, the peely skin, the burny skin, doesn't have that. And if you're looking for gift ideas, their limited edition sets, they're a dream and a major steal. And don't you get me started on their clean fragrances. They've got millions of happy customers, so trust me, trust them. You've got to check out Dime. Go to dimebeautyco.com for 25% off site-wide with code HOLIDAY25, but hurry because it's only for a limited time, okay? dimebeautyco.com, dimebeautyco.com, code HOLIDAY25. Happy shopping. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Please,
so
yeah.
when he was in the shower or the bathroom or whatever, did this name come up on the phone?
Yeah, so let me, sorry.
And you're like,
I'll take a step back and tell you. So basically that day, all the couples live in the same apartment building together. And so we hang out, or we all were back at work, workout routine, trying to but we're all in the same building.
Yeah.
And Taylor and Garrett, we set up a fiancés chat for
Yeah.
everyone that y'all got to know in Mexico and after. And Taylor and Garrett sent a group text that morning saying, hey guys, they're so cute. Hey guys, we're going to be baking fall goods and treats today. And we want to drop them off to each of your apartments. We'll be by later tonight. So Steve and I are hanging out in the apartment, literally laughing. I have pictures on my phone of, what we were doing that night. We were having a really fun time.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, babe, I have to go to the bathroom to pee.
Yeah.
So he goes and he steps. It was crazy timing. He steps in the bathroom to pee. His phone's there, and it's Garrett's text.
Yeah.
And it says, hey, man, we're coming by in 2 minutes to drop off or maybe 5 minutes to drop off the treats. I don't remember what they were, if you guys would be there. So I was like, oh, babe. Not even thinking anything.
Right.
Oh, babe, Garrett just texted. I'm going to send him a text back to say, we're here. Come on in.
I would do the same thing.
And I was saying it to him as I'm doing it. And I'm like, next thing you know, I'm in his text, truly. And I see a woman's name at the top. And I trusted him so much that I remember for a split second being like, I don't need to click that. And it was divine intervention. I clicked it.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is after that, even Garrett told me, Garrett was like, Garrett had never, ever, up until that text, ever sent Steven a one-on-one text. He was like, I typically, like, we've just never even texted or
Yeah.
communicated in that way, but the fact that he did, and I happened to see it, and that's the reason I like, there
Yeah.
could have been a world in which I would have been standing at the altar with this
Right.
man.
And you would have said, I do.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I don't think I would have said I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Table that
Okay.
because I would like to come back to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But I did love him so much. I really, truly did.
yeah, no, I believe you. I could tell. Even just the way somebody kisses somebody, you can tell if they actually
Yeah.
I felt it.
I'm glad you did.
I did.
So much of what viewers got to see in our relationship, which wasn't surprising to me because in reality, we were the first breakup.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about how the show might pan out, I was like, I'll get like the shortest amount of airtime. People,
Right.
but watching it, I was like, and I understood why, because it was way more important for people to see all the amazing parts of Taylor and Garrett and Ashley and Tyler. But I felt like a lot of the really wonderful moments between Steven and I weren't shown. And that's
Yeah,
okay.
Of course. Well,
I'm
'cause
sure
they have
everyone
to
feels that
set
way.
it up that way. Yeah.
So some people have been like, you man, you know, you never liked that guy, or like, you guys had nothing in common. I don't get it. I'm like, that's not
just
the
didn't
way
see.
it was. You just
Yeah.
didn't see it. Yeah.
Again, we are filming all the time and you see this.
Let's snip it.
So then you're like, I'm gonna click on this.
Yeah.
Obviously you're happy you did, because otherwise who knows
Who knows?
how this would have went. And how did you react in the moment? Because I think of myself and I would either go one of two ways, which I think this would be everybody. I would either stay so calm and be such a passive aggressive psycho queen, or I would be like, what the fuck? I'd start
Right?
throwing
Yeah,
the phone
yeah,
like what
yeah.
like what did you do?
Which one do you think? What do you think I did?
Okay, so you stepped into the other room.
Cameras
you
weren't
started
there.
reading them. Cameras are not there,
Mhm.
and you are reading some freaky stuff.
Some freaky shit. Yeah.
And it had gone all the way back,
It was.
and a lot of freaky stuff, or normal. Was
No,
he
it's-
talking about like I'm on Love Is Blind?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
No.
I think you stayed calm.
I was so calm.
Yeah.
I was calm.
Yeah.
Similar to how I was kind of at the reunion.
Yeah.
Like, I have attitude. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, get your shit. But
Right.
very calm.
And then in that moment, he's freaking out because he's like, I've been caught. I'm gonna look like an absolute idiot on television.
He cared he got caught
Yeah.
on in this environment.
And then you called the producer. So then the camera's set up, and
Every-
we're right into it.
right into it. It was
And
it was
he truly,
crazy.
like, no editing there. He truly just was like, yep, you're right. Okay, I'll get
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
Didn't fight for you.
Nope.
At all.
I couldn't believe it's quick. Like when he walked down, he's like, I'm gonna go. I was like, okay, bye.
And then that was,
It was so hurtful. It was super hurtful.
yeah, that's what I think made
It
me
hurt me
so
so
sad for you,
much.
because I think you were like so strong and in your power and like telling him and you were doing everything right. But then when he was gone, you were like, wait, that hurt.
Yeah. I was being I was like, I'm very sensitive
Yeah.
and emo and like will cry. I cried on the way here on my flight,
Oh,
watching Real Housewives of Orange County.
Oh.
When like I'm very like sensitive.
yeah. Watching Real Housewives of Orange
Truly,
County.
like the most random. I'm like, oh my God, literally tears coming down my cheek. I'm like,
You're like Marley and me. It's like,
yeah,
Orange
nope,
County.
Real Housewives of Orange County. But I was exhausted by the amount of times I've dealt with this, and I don't say it to sound like a victim, but like when you're betrayed in that way, it's traumatizing.
It is.
And I've cried, and I found myself in situations where I'm so gaslit that all of a sudden I find someone cheating on me, and within 30 minutes, I'm the one somehow asking the person to stay. Like I've done all of that, and I
Right.
was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, so I refused to let him see me cry. I was like, "He's not going to see me
Yeah.
cry. That shit, you're going to pay
I
me."
wonder
and I'm
how
gonna
he
cry."
felt. Do you know how he felt watching it back when
He didn't
saw
watch it.
He didn't watch it.
Mm-mm. Steven and I this. Yeah. He didn't watch. He stopped watching after our reveal.
Okay, I have two really big questions.
Yeah.
One, what was the fetish? What were the kinks that he was talking about?
The thing that's really up and sad about that situation is, in terms of like my trauma and what I've been through, is I had that phone. He was in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, I went to the bedroom and
Yeah.
I was like reading.
Yeah.
Reading. Then after a few minutes, I come out and I'm like, hi, your phone. Looky here. Then cameras come and my producer's there and I'm talking and they're trying to get me to be like, what was in the text?
Yeah.
Like, what was the girl's name? Anything. And I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't remember anything. And I read all of it. The only thing I do know for sure that I read was him saying, the exact words, I've never been able to find anyone else that satisfies my kinks the way you do. But then there were a lot more. And some of them I've been like, I think I know he said something about like jizzing on a girl's back or something. But I'm like, also, am I lying about that? So I shouldn't say it out loud because it wouldn't be being totally honest. But they were very kinky.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And like, I hate when people try and justify emotional cheating because it didn't actually happen. Did he ever or the internet ever gaslight you into thinking like that wasn't actually cheating?
Honestly, no.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's surprising. No one has done that.
And then my other big question is, how much did he owe you on Venmo?
So he owed me, he paid me $400.
Okay.
He paid me $400.
Okay.
I honestly didn't remember how much he owed me, but I blocked him like a week ago because he really pissed me off.
Why?
But before that, I'll tell you.
Okay.
But before that, he posted a story, something that someone sent me. And I think that this is right. I think he owed me $235 actually. And he said in his story, he's like, yeah, I owed her $235. But I was like, oh, you can round. I think I remember saying something really bitchy. I was like, you can round up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For my time.
I was like, you can round up, make it $250 or something. But he paid me $400.
Okay.
And I think I said something really mean after that of like, you don't go crazy. Like, I don't know if you can afford that, which is really mean. But I was very hurt. And yeah.
We all say mean things when we're hurting. There's a line. I don't think he crossed it.
I don't think I did either.
No.
I don't think I did either.
I was wondering the whole time. I was like, that Venmo moment was so iconic. It was so iconic.
Okay, can I tell you why I said it?
Please.
Because I'm like, I remember after filming, telling my sisters and my cousin, my family, I'm like, I think the thing that's crazy is I did ask him to Venmo me. Like, I like made him pay me. And I like remembered saying something of when he rounded up to 400, which was crazy. I'm like, why are you being dramatic?
Yeah,
you owe me 250. Let's call it even.
Right.
But that comment that I said something mean, like, don't go crazy. I don't know if you can afford that. So I remember doing it and then watching it back. I was like, damn, I was really proud of myself. I had an ex who I lived with. He cheated on me. And when we broke up, we being like the sometimes in relationships that I am, I was like, oh, don't worry. You don't have to pay me back right away. He owed me like $1,100.
Oh.
And he always said it was like flight related. So he had to do it within a year. And as, he was like, oh, I'll do it by this day. I'm coming. As it started getting closer, he got annoyed with me because when he was ready to then use the flight and book it and pay me back my, the $1,100 in cash, not flight credits, in cash that he owed me. I was like, hey, I'm on a flight. Like I'm in Miami. Can I get back to you tomorrow?
Right.
And he was like, no, I need to do it, And so we got in a little bit of we were emailing, a little tiff. And it ended with him saying, you can eat it, just so mean. And he never paid me back. So it wasn't like, not that I think anyone thinks this, but in that moment, I wasn't trying to think of something, salacious or funny to say. I was genuinely like, hey, before you leave, I got to
Yeah, you're like, wait, I've learned this lesson before.
Yeah, you might get mad at me in the future and not pay me back.
All right, I know we are all gearing up for the good old holidays. And if you're anything like me, you're already thinking about everything, hosting, cooking, and of course, holiday outfits. Macy's just kicked off their winter stock-up sale, and I am very obsessed. It's running on November 5th and November 6th, and you can get up to 60% off on everything from cozy sweaters to coats and even bedding. I love to be cozy. And my go-to for that has always been Charter Club from Macy's. Ugh. Hello, perfect throw blankets and winter sheets. Honestly, I'm already planning my holiday hosting. I don't know what it is. It just brings me so much joy to bring people together and host anything, even this podcast. I just love hosting. And if you've ever heard me talk about it, I like to go all out with the decor and the ambiance, and Macy's has me covered for that too. And plus, I'll definitely be refreshing my wardrobe for all holiday parties on the calendar, and you can never go wrong with a cute holiday sweater. So if you're ready to stock up, head to Macys.com or pop into the store before November 6th. Trust me, you don't want to miss these deals at Macys.com. Okay, I always have everything in my drawer of all skincare brands. I love trying new skincare brands, and I'm just always on the hunt for skincare that works. And I like to share one of my favorites, which is Oak Essentials. As fall sets in, I feel like skin starts to feel, that seasonal dryness. And Oak Essentials has been such a go-to for keeping people's summer glow going strong. Now, what a lot of people are loving about Oak Essentials is that it's clean, cruelty-free, and made with high-quality ingredients that really nourish your skin without any nasties. So the moisture-rich balm, for example, oh god, gosh, it's so incredible. It's got this luxurious, like almost silky texture that just melts into my skin and it leaves it looking so hydrated and radiant. I could skip makeup some days because it just looks so good. Plus, it's packed with powerhouse ingredients like sea buckthorn and cocoa butter that helps boost collagen and lock in moisture. And they didn't stop there. Their Dew body oil is the perfect treat for the rest of my skin every time I get out of the shower, especially as fall rolls in. It's so lightweight and it absorbs fast and leaves this gorgeous glow without that greasy feeling. It's perfect. And it smells amazing, like a little perfume moment for your body. So say hello to clean, spa quality skincare essentials that deliver a moisture rich glow. Off the Vine listeners, you're going to get 15% off your first order when you use code VINE15 at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at OAKESSENTIALS.com, promo code VINE15. So go ahead and treat yourself. Get your best radiant skin this fall with Oak Essentials. Your heart right now, where you're at, you're obviously in a relationship and moved on and had to relive it, but where are you at right now with your feelings towards Steven?
What's been hard recently with him is we're not on good terms.
Yeah.
I, like a week ago, blocked him. And I think what was very, very frustrating for me is because of all the shit in my past with cheaters. With Steven, I was upset, but also was hoping to get to a point of forgiveness a lot faster than I have in the past. Because what I've learned in very, more recent years is like the anger that I've held on to for these betrayals has never served me. I found myself being like literally a crazy person, like, stalking their Instagrams, just being like all of the shit that's normal, but like unhealthy and was unproductive for me. So I was really quickly like, and I have a great therapist and I have for 4 years. So it was like, how do we get to the point of forgiveness?
Yeah.
As fast as possible?
It's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's tricky, but we got there.
Yeah, nice.
But leading up to the reunion, Steven was very, very in touch. When I say very, I'm in a relationship, it wasn't anything.
Yeah.
But he was trying to, in my opinion, be like, we're really good, right?
Yeah.
Really good. Really good. And one of my girlfriends called me. She's like, I hate the way she said it best. He's chasing you in the comments. Like, the show had been out. Someone wrote something in my comments. I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. And he would kind of comment like, yeah, thank you on behalf of both of us. Or like, it was,
bro,
it's crazy. So then we get to the reunion and I'm like, we're good, but you also hurt me and we're not best friends. And I get to be allowed to say my piece of how much you hurt me.
Right.
And you disappointed me and you put a ring on my finger at the age of 36 and my parents and all these things. And so I found out, and then after the reunion, we didn't talk before, even though he was like trying to. I was like, no, because I don't want you to then be like, why are you being so mean to me? We just hugged. I gave him a hug and I was like, we are okay, but like I am allowed to say my piece and it's fine. We're not best friends, but I wish you well. And he had something in his pocket from a note that I wrote him, when we were together and it was fine. Then shortly after that, last week or the week before, I can't remember. I'm best friends with Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley's married to Tyler. And Steven reached out to Tyler randomly and was saying horrible things about me because he's mad about my TikToks that I posted. I think there's nothing mean that I've said about him. Like, you're mad at me?
Bro.
I've been so nice to you. What? Because I'm holding a YSL bag and that's not even mean towards you. Are you kidding me? Ashley overheard some of it. And so she's like, oh my God, Steven's talking crazy shit about you. And I was just like, the audacity.
The least he can do is just like the videos and move on and not say a word and be like, you know what, I messed that up. She can do whatever she does, whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yep.
You were humiliated on a very big television show by him humiliating himself. Has that girl that he was DMing with reached out to you at all?
She hasn't, but he's lucky. Because based on how he was talking about me, he was shitting on my relationship. Like, her boyfriend's going to leave her. Like, just really mean things. And I know things about the girl that would be very terrible, very bad to say out loud.
Yeah.
And I won't. I would never give away who she is, or I would never do that. But there are things there that are pretty wild. But she hasn't reached out to me. I don't even know. I wonder if I would imagine she probably knows. I don't know if Steven had other girls that he was also texting in that way. I don't know.
More than one?
No, I only saw one, but I don't know,
I see. Okay.
I don't know.
Another thing I wanted to say to you, and I said it and you said it, we said something about like, I saw something that was so funny and I now try and stick to this, is have you ever like flicked a nutsack before? Like guys go down in 2 seconds. Why are we calling people? We should be calling them ball sacks.
That's really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
switch
true.
to ball sack.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Ball sack. I'm such a ball sack.
Yeah, you were such a ball sack
know.
in that moment.
So much better.
That is so funny. Were there other things that we didn't see from the reunion? Like other guys, did they say things about their girls that you're like, oh, that's not cool? Like, were there things that didn't make it where you're like, that should have been on TV?
In the reunion, the Nick and Hannah thing went on for a really long time.
It did.
Went on for a really long time.
Yeah.
So like when we all start speaking, like, and we're getting a very hard time about all of that. Mean Girls, bullies. It was like it went on for a long time.
Mean Girl bullies. He was the
so
bully.
crazy. And then I feel like there was something with Steven. I tell Steven, and I do forgive you.
Yeah.
There was that of forgiveness. My boyfriend actually, Vanessa and Nick asked me if I was in a relationship, and I'm like, yeah, and he's like looking up at me. So she's like, we're gonna cut this out, but
Yeah.
what's your name? So
Yeah.
he gets to say his name, and he was sitting by my sister and brother-in-law. But yeah, there was a lot that you guys didn't see. A lot. But I feel like in terms of
Like anything that would shock viewers that was cut out, or just little things?
no,
Yeah.
no, honestly, it was watching it back. I was like, because you're sitting there for so long.
Yeah.
Have you done anything like that on stage where it's so
Yes.
cold? It was very cold because I
Oh.
guess because of the equipment, they have to make it like. I had a cold. I was really sick.
Oh no.
I was so uncomfortable. Like the first 2 hours, I was like, if you can see me, I'm like laying backwards like this. I'm sitting back the whole time. So watching it back, I was like, oh, this is. It felt good to me because it was so much more condensed.
Yeah, it was very condensed. I wanted more because like
Yeah.
even when Vanessa was like, you two can, this is getting weird. You two can talk about it off camera. I was
right.
like, no,
Yeah.
no,
sure,
Vanessa,
that-
we
yeah.
tune in to
Talk
see
about it
this. I want to
now.
hear all
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
We're already getting an edited down version. I never want to be hard on hosts because I've been in their position.
Yeah.
You have earpieces in, people are telling you what to say,
Yeah.
you're having to navigate really awkward conversations. You're wanting to call people out, but you don't want to be like really rude.
Yeah.
But I was like, the jokes, the wrap it up joke, I'm like, no,
I know people didn't like that.
really, yeah, I didn't. I was like, who's in their ear? Tell them to stop.
I was like, Ramses was very, I felt for him during the reunion because I felt for everyone.
I actually
myself.
did too.
He was so defeated. I mean,
Yeah.
he was like, he went in, and what we watched before the reunion aired, there were 2 drops left. There were 3 episodes that no one had seen. The World, Us,
Yeah.
and we get to the hotel the night before, and we watch those 3 episodes.
Oh.
And in those 3 are Marissa and Ramses' breakup.
Yeah.
So when I saw him the next day, it was like, I mean, he was just like, he was really struggling.
Yeah. I did
So
feel
I
bad
think
for
those
him.
wrap it up comments, I was like, oh, I don't know if he's liking this. Like, I feel bad for him.
I did feel bad too. And also I felt that Marissa literally she cracked me wide open with that cry of the heartbreak. Like
Heartbreaking.
whew.
Absolutely.
Anyone
The
who's-
sounds coming out of her body were.
Yes. And anyone who's ever been in that position probably like it like reopened a wound for them
Yeah.
because that kind of heartbreak is so hard.
Yeah.
But I also wanted her to look at it now as a blessing. And I wanted her mom to be like, because I'm like, he was just being honest. Like he didn't
Yeah.
see it and it
Yeah.
wasn't for him. Like, yes, he could have approached it many different ways, but we all fuck up when we're trying to like protect our own image while protecting somebody else's feelings while like dancing around. Like it's not easy to just be full out vulnerable and
Totally.
honest all the time. And
Yeah.
I did feel a little bit bad.
I felt for her again, I think viewers see this, but real life experience, when I was shocked that they broke up. Shocked.
Really?
Everyone was shocked. They
Yeah.
were so soft. Even watching it back and seeing some of their more difficult
thought they would make it.
conversations.
Yeah.
That was not, I was like, had no idea.
Hi, you can come in and sit down if you want.
Hi.
Oh, you just walk right in.
Come in.
You're fine.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, come.
Oh my gosh. No, you can
Hi, Nick.
absolutely just
What's up?
yeah. No,
Can I give a quick hug?
please.
Are you mad at me?
Girl, that's the first thing you gotta say to me. Of course not.
I was telling
You
her
see,
how-
she actually does like me.
I do. I love you. I love you.
She didn't say that.
I
I
know.
love you.
She was saying that. She literally sat down here
I
and
love you too.
I really do. I
Yeah.
think you're the
Yeah.
most amazing, best,
yeah.
sweetest angel ever. I just,
Just
I-
like
I
I,
adore
have
you
to be
too.
accountable to, I was a bitch at times. And no one's perfect. And
You weren't a bitch.
thank you, Nick.
You were
I
just
think
standing up for yourself. That's
Thank
it.
you. And thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. People don't really understand how hard it is. Like
Yeah.
all of it.
It is, and it's nice to meet you as
So
well.
nice to meet you.
Um,
I am so glad I got you. That as a fan of the show, that was a really fun little moment.
Yeah,
for
you
me,
should
and-
include that because
Well, I'm
people
definitely
think we
keeping
like
that in.
hate each other or
No,
like
I'm-
that we all. I love Nick. Oh, you were asking me. Oh, the Marissa Ramses.
Oh yeah.
Fine, wrap it up.
Yeah, you were surprised that they didn't make it.
Shocked.
Yeah,
And they broke up just a couple days before the wedding.
yeah,
Something that's very important though there too is like heartbreaking for Marissa, but on the Ramses side, to your point earlier, there's no rules on Love Is Blind.
Right.
When there's no like, don't talk about your looks in the pods or do or like you can. It's free will.
Oh,
Whatever
really?
it's like the show's called Love Is Blind, so like I wouldn't, but do what you want.
Right.
And so no one says you have to make it to the altar or and then say yes or no or but really that like at the altar you can say yes or no. No one tells you that,
Right.
Like you could break up before like most of us did this
Sure.
season. But if I think Ramses's love for Marissa is shown by the fact that he did not do that at the altar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most people go to the altar and then you just say no. And
Yeah.
he was not going to do that to her because he knew. And so it's like that's something that he deserves to get recognition for, I think.
I agree. What do you think about like past members coming back to be in the pods?
Oh, at the reunion?
Yeah.
Listen, for me, as someone who, again, watches all the seasons, loves the show, I'm like, oh my God, Marshall, you're so sweet. AD, you're so beautiful. Like Bliss, Zach. So I loved it. I've seen online that what's hard is there's only so much time.
Yeah, I know.
But I think the point of the whole show, even thinking of, or the experiment, I will say, even
Yeah.
thinking about me being in a happy relationship now, it's
Yeah.
like, I really genuinely took a lot from what I learned as a 36-year-old woman in those pods and I brought it with me into this incredible relationship that I'm in. And
Yeah.
it's like, kind of like, well, maybe one day in the future, if me and my partner end up having kids, which we want
And
to
they
do, and having a
invite you-
family, and they
yeah.
invited me back, I'd be like, this is kind of a full circle moment for me
I
because
get that. I know you said like everyone watching back was like, "Oh, I should have done that differently." Oh, I didn't. What was your biggest like watching back? What was your biggest regret or something you think you could have done better?
I think a lot of people who know me very well say I'm very funny. Like I have I think a pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah.
I like to make people laugh. And watching it back and reading what was online, I'm like, oh, my sense of humor comes off as like a little snooty. Most of it is like either you get it or you don't. Like I don't want a Kate Spade bag. Like if you don't, I say, "Are you well?" It like rolls off my tongue, and
Right.
maybe it comes off a little. People are like, "Why?" Aren't you?"
Yeah.
But it's just my humor. It's
I get
it's the way my friends and I talk. But there's a point in Mexico where I already had episode 6 dropped. It was the last episode of the first drop, and it ends with me telling Steven, like, you got to share the space. You're talking a lot.
Yeah.
And then and that week leading up to the next drop was when I first experienced hate and people being like, you're so mean and so nasty. So then the next drop comes, we're still in Mexico. And one of the first things you see is like the fireworks thing. Steven doesn't come out. And I'm like, you didn't come out with me. And then I'm looking at we're not getting along at that party. There's tension. And I look at
Right.
the girls and I'm like, oh my God, he's so scared of me. Like, I'm so mad at him. And watching that, I almost like, I was like petrified of what I knew was going to be online. This is something so small, but like my friends and I since college say that. Or
Yeah.
like when we would be fighting with our boyfriends at a bar, we'd be like, oh my God, he's so scared of me. Like when our dads would be like mean to us and then he'd be like, you're mean to me. We'd be like, oh, he's so scared of me. It was just something we
Yeah.
said all of us
Nobody
for
ever
years.
gets context.
No one gets context, but watching it back, I remember being like, that's actually, I will always say that I don't want a Kate Spade bag, but I don't like, you're so scared of me. A lot of people online have been like, you were bragging about the fact that he was scared of you. I'm like, no, you guys are right. Like that did not sound
Really?
cute.
Yeah.
Like that, I have to get rid of that from my vocabulary.
Or maybe just keep it in your circle. I'm so happy for you that you have like gone through one of the craziest things somebody could go through.
You
You've come out the other side. You're in a relationship. You're happy.
so happy.
And you guys talk about having kids.
We do.
Wow.
Yeah, we really do.
You said it earlier. I didn't say it.
I know you're right. Yeah, I did say it. Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So you're overall happy.
I'm so happy
that you did it.
I think I'm so happy I did it. I can't believe what comes with it because
Yeah.
it's like I have a big personality. Like I'm funny. I say weird things.
Yeah.
You hear me say on camera, like saving my butt for marriage and like
Yeah, that
with a
was
straight face. Like that's
Yeah.
just who I am.
That's
You know,
very
I'm a
funny.
lot.
Yeah.
And you watch it back and then you hear the commentary and you're like, wow, people literally think I'm a mean girl. And it's so crazy because like, am I mean sometimes? Sure. But it's
I
like
know.
so hard to wrap your head around the extent of the hate. But even with all of that, I'm really glad I did it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't change it a thing.
Yeah, because I promise the hate will die. Like maybe not go away permanently, but that means you're doing something right always.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sure it's like the more, in your face you
Yeah,
say, it never goes
it's-
away.
It's never gonna go away.
Yeah.
But the love that you like, those people that stay and are invested in like
Yeah.
your future
Yeah.
are just the best.
The best.
They're
Yeah.
the best. I'm like, why is my neck itchy?
What's happening?
Full on tags, like not even like a
That's so
small
funny.
tag, like a cardboard box hanging out of my.
Aritzia.
That is the best, isn't it? Thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you
I
so
just-
much for having me. This is like,
You're just as lovely as I thought you were, maybe a little
Thank you.
more.
Thank you so. There it goes.
Not taking that back. And tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, Monica J. Davis.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's
Thank
me.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
I love you.
I'm
Thank you.
rooting
Thank
for
you.
your future, and I just can't wait to like stay in touch and see what happens.
Thank you
for
so much.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't believe
very
it. Thank
exciting.
you.
I'm Caitlin Bristow. I'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.